Good morning. All right, on to the next chapter of our book, Plant Cells. You will want to open up to page 8. Go ahead, you should be there. Page 8. On page 8, it has a chapter titled, What are the Parts of a Plant Cell? Read along with me. I'm at the top of page 8. We'll stop and look at pictures along the way. The outside of a plant cell is a cell wall. Much like humans have bones to hold up our bodies, plants have cell walls. Cell walls tend to be stiff and rigid, providing the support that holds up all plants, from corn stalks to tall oak trees. Compared to other cell parts, cell walls are thick and strong. Most plant cells have 2 layers to their cell walls. Lining the inside of the cell wall is a protective layer called the cell membrane, made of proteins and fats. See page 24 for information on fats. The membrane lets water and nutrients into the cell, but it is designed to keep unwanted material out of the cell. This is a picture that shows the bark and trunks of trees are made in part of cellulose, the substance that makes cell walls strong. On to page 9. Cell walls are made in part from a loosely woven fabric called cellulose. Cellulose is full of tiny holes called pores so that water and nutrients can flow through the cell walls. You are more familiar with cellulose than you think. The cotton that makes your t-shirt is cellulose. The paper this book is printed on is also cellulose. How are plant cells alike? Inside plant cells are rooms or chambers. Cells with chambers are called eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells exist in humans, animals, green plants, and fungi organisms that reproduce by spores. The cells in soaring redwood trees, lacy ferns, poison ivy, and lemon trees are all eukaryotic cells. The chambers or structures in eukaryotic cells are called organelles. Organelles are tiny organs, much like the heart, lungs, and liver in humans. In plants, organelles do jobs to keep the plants healthy. And here's our plant cell cut cross, labeling all the organelles. Which organelles do you see here that we also saw in the animal cells? I see a nucleus. I see mitochondria. I see a vacuole. What organelles do you see here on a plant cell that you did not see in a human or animal cell? I don't remember seeing this watermelon-shaped looking thing, chloroplast. Why would this be in a plant cell but not in an animal cell? This illustration shows the organelles of a plant cell. Let's move on to page 10. The nucleus. Let's try to remember what we read about the nucleus in the animal cells book. Most organelles in plant cells are similar to organelles in animal cells. The nucleus is the control center of a plant cell. It works like a brain does in humans. Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, is found in the nucleus. DNA is the genetic related to what carries a plant or animal's characteristics material that determines all the characteristics of a plant. The information in DNA determines if a tree has rough or smooth bark, cones or fruit, and large leaves or needles. It determines a plant's normal height and if it will have flowers. It even determines how many seeds a plant makes to carry on to another generation of plants. Surrounding the nucleus is the nuclear envelope, which protects the nucleus. Sticking out from the nucleus is the endoplasmic reticulum, ER. This is a network of tube-shaped structures. The ER arranges chemicals in plant cells into useful forms and carries the chemicals throughout the cells. The ER produces and uses fats and types of proteins. Let's take a look at the picture. All plants have the same cell structure. Even flowers have the same cell structure as an oak tree? I guess so. Page 11. What is that? Well, check out the caption. It'll tell us. Good. It says, these oddly shaped bulbid trees look as if they were planted upside down. However, they have the same cellular makeup as other plants, such as daisies. So that's not the roots of a tree. That's the stems and branches of a tree. It's just got a very wide trunk. Central vacuoles. Although the nucleus controls a plant cell's activities, it takes up very little space in a cell. Most of the plant cell space is filled by a storage chamber called a central vacuole. A plant central vacuole is large and important. This is where the cell puts unused food, water, and waste material. Vacuoles hold minerals such as calcium, sodium, and iron that the plant uses to live and grow. Vacuoles also provide support and protection for the cells. All right, moving on over to page 12. What is that? A mitochondria. When a plant cell needs energy, the mitochondria becomes active. Mitochondria work as the cell's power center. Mitochondria have their own DNA. Mitochondria get stored food from the central vacuole. They produce energy from the stored food to power the cell's main functions. Ribosomes. Ribosomes are plant protein factories. Ribosomes help form chains of amino acids, which are compounds made of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. These amino acids in turn form proteins. The proteins keep plant cells working smoothly. Let's look at the caption before we go on to the text box. Tiny mitochondria contain even smaller structures that work together to produce energy for a plant's cell. Science tools. The microscope. Organelles are so small they can only be seen through a very powerful microscope. In 1590, eyeglass makers Zacharias and Hans Janssen made the first microscope. It was a tube with glass lenses at each end. Today's microscopes work like the Janssen's microscope, but are much more powerful. They have an upper lens at the eyepiece and lenses below. The total magnification equals the power of the eyeglass lenses times 10 multiplied by the power of the lower lens, which can be, for example, 4 times, 10 times, 40 times, or 100 times. For example, using the 100 times lower lens and the 10 times eyepiece would magnify an object 1,000 times. I'm on page 13. Chloroplast. Chloroplast helps plants produce their own food. They are green, disc-like organs. Chloroplast contains chlorophyll. The green in green plants, photosynthesis takes place inside chloroplast. Another cell part that are like chloroplasts store starch or hold the coloring that makes apples red, bananas yellow, and irises a whole range of colors. Cytoplasm. Any remaining space in a plant cell is filled with cytoplasm. It's a jelly-like substance. Plant organelles float in cytoplasm. So what is this a picture of? I thought it was a cell, but it's not a cell. This is chloroplast. Chloroplasts are organelles in which green plants produce their own food. So in the chloroplast, you have a lot of the same things, but a lot of not the same things. We got starch grains. We have a stroma, which looks like another tiny cytoplasm. Okay, so I do want you to use these pages 8 through 13 to help you answer these questions. This is only one side. So if it says, what is a cell wall? You would answer, a cell wall is. Use the book to help you answer that. Okay? All right, make me proud. Show me what you know. Use the book.